The sound of the safe clicking open was deafening in the silence of the library, loud enough to stop my heart. Click, click. The heavy steel door swung outward, revealing the dark, velvet-lined interior I wasn't supposed to know the combination to. My hands were trembling so violently that the flashlight beam danced across the shelves like a frantic firefly. I reached inside, bypassing the stacks of cash and the antique watches. My fingers closed around a thick manila envelope taped to the very back of the compartment. It felt heavy, cold. I tore it open, the sound of ripping paper echoing like a gunshot in the sleeping house. Photographs spilled out onto the Persian rug, grainy, zoomed-in shots. Then, documents, bank transfers, a deed to a penthouse in the city center, dated 3 weeks ago. But it was the last piece of paper that made the bile rise in my throat. It was a medical invoice, prenatal vitamins, ultrasound appointments. The name on the patient file wasn't mine. It was Seraphina. And the guarantor for the payments? Julian Blackwood, my husband. Footsteps creaked on the floorboards above my head. He was waking up. I had maybe 30 seconds to put everything back, to lock the safe, and to pretend that my entire world hadn't just incinerated into ash. But as I looked at that name, Seraphina, something inside me snapped. Fear evaporated, replaced by a cold, surgical rage. I didn't put the papers back. I slipped them inside my silk robe. Let him come down. Let him see me. The war had just begun. To understand why I didn't scream, why I didn't burn the house down right then and there, you have to understand who we were. Or rather, who I thought we were. My name is Genevieve. And up until 6 months ago, I was living inside a fairy tale that I had written, directed, and financed myself. I'm 42 years old, the CEO of a high-end architectural firm, and I have spent the last 15 years building an empire alongside Julian. Julian is, a man who looks like he walked out of a cologne commercial. Tall, with silver fox temples that only made him look more distinguished, and a smile that could disarm a bomb squad. He was a lawyer, specializing in corporate mergers. We were the power couple of the city. We hosted the charity galas, we vacationed in the Maldives, and we were currently renovating the Blackwood estate, a sprawling Victorian mansion on the cliffs overlooking the ocean. It was supposed to be our forever home, the place where we would grow old, drinking wine on the terrace and laughing about our youth. The cracks started appearing not with a bang, but with a whisper, a scent. It was a Tuesday in November. The rain was relentless, battering the windows of our penthouse while the renovation on the estate was being finalized. Julian came home late, claiming a merger with a Japanese tech giant was running over schedule. "I'm exhausted, Jen," he said, loosening his silk tie as he walked into the kitchen. He kissed me on the cheek. That was the first micro-conflict, though I didn't realize it at the time. As his lips brushed my skin, I smelled it. Beneath the layers of his expensive sandalwood cologne and the stale air of an office, there was something else, a floral note, sweet, sickly sweet, like vanilla and cheap jasmine. I pulled back, smiling, but my eyes scanned his face. "You smell different," I said, keeping my voice light. "New soap at the office?" He didn't even blink. He didn't flinch. He just walked to the fridge and grabbed a bottle of sparkling water. Must be the cleaning crew. They were spraying some awful air freshener in the conference room. It gave me a headache. It was a plausible lie. Julian was a master of plausible lies. But as he walked past me to the shower, I noticed something else, a tiny, almost microscopic smudge of glitter on his collar. I stood in the kitchen, listening to the water turn on, and a cold knot formed in my stomach. I told myself I was being paranoid. I told myself I was tired, stressed from the workload at my firm. Julian loved me. We were partners. We didn't have secrets. But the seed of doubt had been planted, and it is a weed that grows fast in the dark. 2 weeks passed. The Japanese merger seemed to require more and more late nights. Julian became protective of his phone. He started taking calls on the balcony, closing the glass door tight against the wind, his posture tense. Then came Seraphina. We needed an interior designer for the final touches on the estate. Julian suggested we hire someone fresh, someone with new ideas. He introduced me to Seraphina. She was young, painfully young, maybe 24. She had long chestnut hair, wide doe eyes, and a way of looking at Julian that made me feel like an intruder in my own marriage. But she was talented. I couldn't deny that. She had a portfolio that was impressive for her age. She's the daughter of a client, Julian had explained, his hand resting casually on the small of my back as we met her for lunch. I want to give her a break. Miss Blackwood, Seraphina said, extending a hand with perfectly manicured nails. It is such an honor. Your firm is legendary. Call me Genevieve, I said, taking her hand. Her skin was soft, uncalloused by hard work. And then I smelled it. Vanilla and jasmine. The world tilted on its axis for a second. The restaurant noise, the clinking of silverware, the murmur of conversations faded into a dull roar. I looked at Julian. He was reading the wine list, looking completely unbothered. Is it her? I asked myself. Is this the cleaning crew? I spent the entire lunch analyzing every micro-expression, every glance. When Julian poured water, did he linger near her glass? When she laughed, did she lean towards him? Oh, Julian, you're terrible, she said at one of his dry legal jokes, touching his forearm. Just a tap, a feather-light touch. Julian didn't pull away. He smiled, a smile I hadn't seen directed at me in months, a smile that reached his eyes. I felt a wave of nausea, but I am a professional. I swallowed the bile, took a sip of my Chardonnay, and smiled back. So, Seraphina, I said, my voice steady as steel. Tell me about your vision for the master bedroom. Her eyes flickered to Julian for a microsecond before meeting mine. Oh, I envision something romantic. Lush velvets, deep reds, a sanctuary. Interesting, I said. I usually prefer neutrals, calming tones. Well, Julian interjected, closing the menu, maybe it's time for a change, Jen. A little passion wouldn't hurt the design. The double entendre hung in the air like smoke. I gripped the stem of my wine glass so hard I thought it would shatter. That night, I couldn't sleep. Julian was snoring softly beside me, his arm thrown over his eyes. I got up and went to the living room. I needed proof. The smell and the touch weren't enough. I needed something concrete. I opened his laptop bag. Nothing. I checked his suit pockets. Nothing. Then I remembered the car, his vintage Jaguar. He loved that car more than anything. He kept it immaculate. I put on my coat over my pajamas and went down to the garage. The concrete floor was freezing through my slippers. I unlocked the car and sat in the driver's seat. It smelled of leather and him. I opened the glove box. Insurance papers, manual, a tire gauge. I checked the center console, mints, charging cables. I was about to give up, to convince myself I was a jealous, aging woman losing my mind, when I saw it. The ashtray. We didn't smoke. Julian hated smoking. But the ashtray was slightly ajar. I pulled it out. Inside, tucked into the small space behind the metal insert, was a receipt. It was crumbled into a tiny ball. I smoothed it out on the dashboard, using the light from the street lamp outside. It was from a high-end boutique in the city called L'Etoile. A purchase for a sapphire pendant, the Midnight Star. Price, $12,500. Date, 3 days ago. My birthday was 4 months away. Our anniversary had passed. I stared at the receipt until the numbers blurred. $12,500. It wasn't the money. We had plenty of money. It was the deceit. I put the receipt back exactly how I found it. I locked the car, I went back upstairs and crawled into bed next to the stranger who was my husband. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, listening to his breathing. Every inhale, every exhale felt like an insult. Who are you? I thought. And what have you done with my life? The next 3 weeks were a masterclass in acting. I became the perfect wife. I cooked his favorite meals. I asked about his day. I even complimented Seraphina on her fabric choices when she came over for consultations. But while I smiled, I was digging. I hired a private investigator, not a cheap one from the phone book, but a forensic accountant named Octavia. She was a woman I had worked with on a difficult commercial zoning project years ago. She was terrifyingly efficient. I need to know everything, Octavia, I told her, sitting in her dim, smoke-free office. Assets, hidden accounts, movements. If he buys a stick of gum, I want to know the flavor. It's usually the secretary or the nanny, Octavia said dryly, typing on her keyboard. It's the interior designer, I replied. Cliché, but effective, Octavia raised an eyebrow. Every day brought a new revelation, a new micro-conflict that chipped away at my soul. One evening, Julian called. Jen, I have to fly to Chicago tonight, emergency client meeting. I'll be back Friday. Of course, darling, I said, watching him pack his bag. Do you need me to book your hotel? No, the firm handled it. Don't worry. He kissed me goodbye. I love you. I love you too, I lied. As soon as the door closed, I called Octavia. Is he going to Chicago? He's booked on a flight to Chicago, Octavia said, but he also booked a return flight for tomorrow morning to Miami. And guess who else is on that Miami? Seraphina. Bingo! And Genevieve? He used a corporate card from a shell company I didn't know existed until today, Archon Holdings. Does that ring a bell? No, I whispered. I'm digging into Archon. It looks like he's been funneling money from your joint accounts into this shell for 2 years. Small amounts at first, now bigger chunks. My knees gave out. I sank onto the kitchen floor. 2 years? This wasn't a fling with the designer. Seraphina was just the latest accessory. The theft, the betrayal, it had started long before her. I spent that weekend alone in the house, surrounded by the ghosts of my marriage. I drank too much wine, I cried until my eyes were swollen shut, and then I stopped crying. Sadness is a heavy blanket that suffocates you. Rage is fuel. When Julian returned on Friday, tanned and exhausted from the Chicago meetings, I was ready. How was Chicago? I asked, pouring him a scotch. Freezing, he said. Windy city indeed. I looked at his tan lines. You look like you got some sun, though. He froze for a millisecond, just a glitch in the matrix. Oh, I used a sun lamp at the hotel spa, trying to keep the winter blues away. Smart, I said, sipping my tea. You have to take care of yourself, Julian. The turning point came a week later, the cold open. I was looking for my passport in the library safe because I was planning a solo trip, an escape plan. I knew the combination, his birthday and mine, but it didn't work. He had changed it. Why would he change the safe combination? I stood there staring at the digital keypad. He thought he was smarter than me. He thought I was just the creative wife, the artist, while he was the legal genius. But he forgot that I built my company from the ground up. I noticed details. I remembered watching him open it a month ago. I closed my eyes, visualizing his fingers. I tried the date of our wedding. Error. I tried his mother's birthday. Error. One attempt left before the lockout timer started. I thought about Seraphina. I thought about the receipt. I typed in the date on the receipt, 11/14/23. That brings us back to the moment I found the ultrasound, the moment the universe collapsed. Pregnant. She was pregnant, and he was paying for it, and he was buying a penthouse, and he was stealing my money to do it. He came down the stairs 5 minutes later. I was sitting in the armchair facing the fireplace, the envelope hidden under the cushion, the safe closed and locked. "Couldn't sleep?" he asked. "Just thinking," I said, not turning around. "About what?" "About the future, the house, us." He walked over and kissed the top of my head. "The house is almost done, Jen. It's going to be perfect." "Yes," I said, "perfect." The next day, I met with Octavia again, but this time I brought a lawyer. Not just any lawyer, Beatrice, my college roommate, the vicious divorce attorney known in the city as the Black Widow. "He's sloppy," Beatrice said, looking over the documents I had photographed. "He thinks you're stupid. That's his fatal flaw." "He's transferring ownership of the estate to Archon Holdings next week," Octavia said, pointing to a document. "He's going to frame it as a liability protection move. He'll ask you to sign off on it. Once it's in Archon and Archon is in his name, if you divorce, the house is his separate property." "And the money he stole?" I asked. "Recoverable, but difficult. Unless," Beatrice said, "unless we trap him." "How?" "Let him transfer the house. But before he does, we alter the operating agreement of Archon Holdings. You're the majority shareholder of your own firm, Genevieve. You have power of attorney over certain joint assets he's forgotten about." "We make Archon mine?" I asked. "We make Archon yours," Beatrice nodded, "and we burden it with a debt he personally guarantees. A toxic asset swap. It's complicated but legal if he signs the wrong page without reading it." "He never reads the fine print when I give him papers," I realized. "He trusts me." "Exactly," Beatrice said. "Weaponize his arrogance." The plan was set for the housewarming gala. We were hosting a massive party to unveil the renovated Blackwood estate. 200 guests, the city's elite. It was the deadline for the renovation, and apparently the deadline for Julian's plan to leave me. I knew, through Octavia's bugs in his car, that he planned to serve me divorce papers the week after the gala, once the house was legally his. He wanted to parade me around one last time as the trophy wife, secure the social standing, and then discard me for the younger model. The weeks leading up to the gala were torture. Seraphina was there constantly, supervising the staging. Her belly was still flat, but I saw the way she rested her hand on her stomach when she thought no one was looking. I saw the secret smiles she shot Julian. I had to play the role of the oblivious, happy hostess. I ordered the catering, I chose the flowers, white lilies for funerals, I approved the guest list. One afternoon, Seraphina cornered me in the kitchen. "Genevieve, I just want to say," she started, "you've been so gracious. I know I'm young, and this project was huge." "You've done a job, Seraphina," I said, cutting a lemon with a very sharp knife. "A very thorough job." "I hope you and Julian will be happy here," she said. She knew she was taking it all. "Oh, happiness is a complex thing," I said, wiping the juice from the blade. "Sometimes you get exactly what you deserve." The night of the gala arrived. The house looked magnificent. Chandeliers sparkled, champagne flowed, and the orchestra played soft jazz. I wore a dress of emerald green velvet, armor. Julian looked dashing in his tuxedo. Seraphina was there, of course, wearing a red dress that was just a little too tight, a little too loud. Halfway through the night, Julian pulled me into the study. "Jen, darling," he said, closing the door, One last bit of business before we toast. The transfer papers for the house into the holding company. My lawyer sent them over. Just need your signature to protect us from liability. He handed me a stack of papers. My heart hammered. This was it. Of course, Julian, I said. I trust you. I took the pen, but I didn't sign his papers. I created a distraction. Oh, I spilled champagne on my hand, I laughed, clumsily knocking a glass over on the side table. Careful, Julian rushed to get napkins. In that 5-second window, I swapped the signature page. I had practiced this move 100 times, sleight of hand. The page I substituted looked identical, but the reference codes at the bottom linked to the amended operating agreement Beatrice had filed that morning, the one that made me the sole beneficiary of Archon Holdings and assigned all of Julian's personal debt to a shell company that was about to implode. He came back with napkins. Here, let me dry that. Thank you, darling. I smiled, took the pen, and signed the swapped page. Done, I said. Excellent, he said, slipping the folder into his desk. He kissed me. To us, I echoed. To me. We went back to the party. The climax was approaching. I had asked for the microphone at 9 p.m. for a speech. I stood on the grand staircase, looking down at the sea of faces. Julian stood at the bottom, beaming. Seraphina was near the back, sipping sparkling water. Welcome, everyone, I said, my voice amplified by the speakers. Tonight is a celebration of new beginnings. The crowd applauded. This house has been a labor of love, but a house is nothing without honesty, without a foundation. I saw Julian's smile falter slightly. He sensed a shift in my tone. I want to thank my husband, Julian, I said, looking directly at him, for teaching me that you really have to look closely at the details, especially the financial ones. A murmur went through the crowd. And I want to thank our interior designer, Seraphina, I gestured to her, for bringing such life into our home, and for the new life she is bringing into the world. Gasps. Seraphina dropped her glass. It shattered. Julian took a step forward. Genevieve, what are you doing? He hissed. I'm making an announcement, darling, I said, my voice turning to ice. Julian and I are parting ways. But don't worry about the house. You see, Julian just signed the deed over to a company called Archon Holdings. Julian looked relieved for a split second. He thought I was just announcing the divorce publicly. However, I continued, what Julian doesn't know is that Archon Holdings is wholly owned by me. And the document he just signed? It also transferred his personal liability for the $2 million loan he took out against his firm directly to himself while stripping him of his equity. The room went dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Julian, I said, holding up the microphone like a gavel, you are bankrupt, you are homeless, and you are going to be a father. I suggest you start looking for a job. I hear Seraphina has expensive taste. I dropped the microphone. It hit the floor with a screech of feedback. Julian lunged for the stairs, his face a mask of purple rage. You bitch! You can't do that! I'll sue you! Security guards, whom I had hired specifically for this moment, stepped in front of him. Mr. Blackwood, the head of security said, this is private property. Mrs. Blackwood has asked that you be removed. This is my house, he screamed. Not anymore, sir, I said, softly from the top of the stairs. Check the deed. He looked at Seraphina. She was backing away, her face pale. She saw the sinking ship. She saw the money evaporating. She turned and ran out the front door without looking back. Julian was dragged out, kicking and screaming in front of his partners, his clients, and the city's elite. The aftermath was messy, of course. There were lawsuits, he tried to claim fraud, but Beatrice was brilliant. The paperwork was ironclad. He had signed it. He was a lawyer. His argument that he didn't read it was laughed out of court. He lost his license to practice law due to the embezzlement I exposed in the following weeks. The Japanese merger money? It was client funds. He went to prison for 3 years for fraud. Seraphina? She moved back to her parents' house in a small town. I heard she had the baby, a boy. Julian has never met him. He can't afford the child support. As for me, I'm sitting on the terrace of the Blackwood estate. It's a cool evening. The ocean is crashing against the cliffs below. The house is quiet, but it's a peaceful quiet. I had the master bedroom redesigned. No lush velvets, just crisp, clean white linen. I sip my wine, a vintage that costs more than Julian's current car, and I look at the sunset. Revenge isn't about setting the world on fire. It's about waiting for the other person to hand you the match, and then politely lighting their fuse. He wanted a new life. I gave him one. He just didn't realize that starting over meant starting from zero. Sometimes I wonder if I was too cruel. I look at the empty chair across from me and I think about the 15 years we spent together. But then I remember the ultrasound. I remember the smell of vanilla and jasmine on his collar while I was cooking his dinner. I remember the look in his eyes when he thought he had won. Ladies, listen to me. We are taught to be forgiving. We are taught to be the nurturers, the ones who hold the family together at the expense of our own dignity. We are told that if a man strays, maybe we weren't enough. That is a lie. You are enough, and you are powerful. Never let anyone treat you like an option in your own life. If you smell smoke, don't ignore it. Find the fire. And if you have to, burn the whole thing down to save yourself. Trust your gut. It is your oldest, wisest friend. If something feels wrong, it is. Don't gloss over the micro-conflicts. Don't ignore the changed passwords, the late nights, the sudden need for privacy. And always, always read the fine print. I hope you never have to go through what I did, but if you do, remember Genevieve. Remember that dignity is expensive, but revenge can be free if you're smart enough. Thank you for listening to my confession. It feels good to finally say it all out loud. If this story made your heart race, or if you've ever felt that gut instinct warning you about someone, please hit that like button. It helps more women find this channel and realize they aren't alone. Subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next story. And I have a question for you in the comments. If you found out your partner was planning to leave you penniless, would you walk away quietly or would you destroy them like I did? I'll be reading your answers. Stay strong, queens.